2009's movie adaptation of Land of the Lost was a disappointment to many people. For me, it was an alright way to spend a couple of hours. A decent excuse to consume way too many calories, served up in the form of buttered popcorn and soda. Still, when the credits finally rolled, I found myself scratching my head, not because it was a horrible movie, but rather because it was a huge missed opportunity. Every once in a while, a movie comes around that could have been something truly special and totally blows it. This is one of those movies. But before I get into the reasons why this was such a missed opportunity, let's just spend a moment or two remembering the original Land of the Lost that ran on NBC in the mid-70s. It came from producers Sid and Marty Krofft, the folks responsible for HR Pufnstuf and the Bugaloos. But the real team behind this series were many of the same people that had been involved in the original Star Trek. Couple that with the talented and committed cast, and well, you've captured lightning in a bottle. Because it was a Saturday morning's kids show, there was a limited budget, and hey, we're talking about the 70s here, the mid-70s, pre-Star Wars, so even with a little more cash, the special effects would not have been great. But still, it was that rare children's show that the whole family could watch. Some of the ideas presented here were truly challenging, and at least in my case, got me thinking about the possibilities of worlds existing beyond my little one in Woods Cross, Utah. So that brings us to the first missed opportunity. Holy cow. For a show that presented ideas that transcended the medium of Saturday morning television, it was truly, and I mean truly disappointing, that the movie went in the opposite direction. By the way, movies can be both funny and smart. You don't have to dumb things down, but in this case, they really did. The second missed opportunity is the one that probably stings the most for the producers of this film. I'm sure that they were hoping to make Land of the Lost 2 and Land of the Lost 3. However, word got out quickly that this wasn't one of Will Ferrell's funniest movies, and yes, I can think of at least one, a little holiday film called Elf. But also, the movie alienated longtime fans of the series with its callous disregard for some of the most basic themes that the original series pounded home episode after episode. A good example of that is the theme of family, which was absent because Will and Holly were no longer Rick's children. And Chaka? Well, the less said about the way he was portrayed, the better. But again, the ideas of friendship and loyalty, well, they weren't part of this film's DNA. And because the target audience for this movie wasn't the same as the original TV show, the amazing merchandising opportunities that existed for the Krofts in the 70s were not there for this film. It's really too bad. I would have liked to have gotten my hands on a new Sleestack action figure. And no one was asking to be a Sleestack for Halloween in 2009, and no kid wanted to take a Land of the Lost lunchbox to school. Gosh darn it, you guys, you blew it! Maybe the saddest of all of the missed opportunities was the aborted attempt to include actors Wesley Ury and Kathy Coleman in cameo roles. Kathy has talked about visiting with the director prior to the filming of the movie, and at one point she thought he really seemed to get it. It was like he knew what it would take to appeal to the existing fan base as well as attract an entirely new audience. But once filming began, it was apparent that there really was no place in this movie for Wesley and Kathy, and the one scene that they filmed, pictured above, was cut from the final version of the movie. And the final missed opportunity is another one of those where you've just got to ask, what in the heck were they thinking? The original series was graced with an amazing creative team, including the series creator David Gerrold, who along with legendary sci-fi writers like Larry Niven and DC Fontana, I'm quite sure any of these folks would have been excited to have been involved in one way or another with this movie. Instead, they were not part of its creative process, and the work that they'd done decades earlier was, like I said, dumbed down for the sake of a quick laugh or two, which, truthfully, there weren't that many in this movie. So there you go. What do you think? Like I said, I enjoyed it, kind of. You can tell I have a lot of angst with this film. Do you agree with me? Or do you have a different opinion? Let me know in the comments section below, and while you are at it, I would appreciate it if you'd click on that thumbs up icon and consider subscribing to my channel. I talk about music, movies, and television, mostly from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. You know, the good stuff. But most importantly, and as always, thank you so much for watching.